Welcome everyone for the High Elf Fleets video. I'm Philip, my co-host is Kieran, and I'm very pleased today that we have a guest, Nexus Wargaming. Welcome, Nexus.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So this is your main army that you talked about in your past edition video. You said that this is the one you like to play the most. How did you feel about it in 3.4?
3.4, I didn't care for the army. You can win with it, and I've won with it. I think the biggest issue with high elf fleets has been rending on everything. It's not a great, like, I would say this, I would play people, and they would basically tell me, why did I spend 200 or 300 points on regen? Because everything has. So I think while the army wasn't the worst as far as the competitive army goes, because everything had rending, it it was very much a feast or famine army. It's a feels bad army, I think, and like that's something that I think. In other words, I don't just judge the army based on how much you can win with it. I think it's if you really want to like min max, you can definitely make a competitive high elf fleets list. I just don't think it's a well designed army in the sense that you're at higher competitive play, you're not going to win. It's not going to be fun because if you roll a lot of sixes in 3.4, you're going to get AP4. You're just going to blow through the. It's kind of a roll six army, right? Where when you have rending, you ignore regen, and then if you roll sixes, it's kind of like. And I've had those games where it's like I roll a lot of sixes, okay, I win. So
It's interesting. So
those,
Very swingy.
yeah,
it's very swingy, and um, I think some of the units just were optimized. I mean, the army was really. If you wanted to really play a high level list, you were just bringing all elementals. So I didn't feel it had a lot of internal balance to it. The spells were just really, to be frank, they were bad. Um, there's really only one spell, maybe the +1 defense, which was decent. The other two were just about terrible. Like level 3 was +3 to hit on an army that's mostly quality 3 and quality 4. It's useless. And then they had a level 1 stealth with an 18, which is it's okay. You pick a unit. The psyker has to get within 18 of a unit, and you give that unit -1 to hit. The problem is that you have to get your psyker within 18 of the enemy, so it's not a great one as well. So I would generally say I didn't care for high elf fleets in 3.4.
so let's see if they've made some good changes. Now, High Elf Fleets it's at least a little bit unique in terms of some of the other armies I've seen, where like HDF, Dow, a lot of the other armies we've been looking at, they get straight buffs in 3.5. In Higher Fleets, some of the rules have got worse, but they've got cheaper because of that. So, for
If you
example, they
liked
used to be
rending too
fast.
much, that's gone.
Yeah. So the rending's gone. I guess we'll talk about that first. So it's changed to crack. So again, like you said, rolling sixes, but this time it doesn't ignore the rending, and it's only AP2 instead of AP4.
Doesn't offer regen. Yeah.
I think it's a good change.
I think it's a good change.
Yeah, I think so. I think that you you know it's still kind of a roll six, but it's not as bad.
It,
So I think ignoring like there was them and Dark Elf Raiders. They had these armies that had poison and regen army like poison and rending army wide, and I think this is really good. So I think that's actually probably one of the best changes to the army.
really?
Was yeah, I like it a lot. It did lower the points. There's a lot of their units that suffer from hybrid tax,
I was
so it
just about to
actually made a
say.
lot of the pistol. Yeah, made a lot of the pistols on these units a lot cheaper.
Those rending pistols weren't cheap for those, Howling
No.
Banshee equivalents and stuff like that. So now they're not as
Yeah.
punishing. Now, the other thing, they had fast before. Now they've got highborn, so they don't get the +4 inches on a rush. They get +2 inches on advance and +2 inches on a charge or a rush.
Uh-huh.
Again, slight discount, slightly worse. This seems to lean towards shooting.
Yep, that's exactly it. Yeah, that's so I would say in general, I'm not a fan of army-wide rules, and I think high elf fleets have suffered the most from this. So I think when you think about 3.5, there are some army-wide rules that work really good in some armies, like Space Marines or Battle Brothers, where they're all. But mixed armies, like High Elf fleets and Dark Elf raiders, where it's not just the elves, right? They have the elementals, and the Dark Elf raiders have their like thralls or something. This is sort of where universal rules actually make the army, I feel, less unique because all the units, like in the previous 3.4, your elementals were a little slower, and to me that actually gave the army a lot of uniqueness, right? You had some slower, tougher units, but now everything is sort of equally fast. So I don't. I think to me, I don't really care for it. Exactly right. Fast was a very great ability that made the army have some utility. Now it's pretty much just shooting. So yeah, I think they've definitely suffered from their army-wide rule in those two aspects.
So
So
let's
yeah,
have a quick look at the elemental new rules since you mentioned them. So they can get a optional buff to, without rolling, they just straight up within 18 inches debuff an enemy unit that the next time it is in melee it strikes last. And it seems like this might only trigger when they charge as well. So you don't waste it.
it's and I'll give you. I will caveat. I haven't played 3.5, so it's difficult for me to like whenever I make my tier lists. One thing I do is I do spend a lot of time playtesting this stuff and playtesting it. And unwieldy, man, it's hard.
Certain armies are going to
It's really
hate this. Certain armies are just going to
yes,
get
it's
so punished.
but at the same time, High Elf Fleets wants to be a shooting army, and so putting unwieldy on a unit and having that unit charge a shooting unit and having that shooting unit maybe put one wound into them, it's not. I don't think it's going to be nearly as impactful as you think it is, except on elementals. So I would say this: like high elf fleets, elementals are basically the way that you're going to run high elf fleets competitive. I don't see much of anything in their other units that jump out. Elementals were the best thing in their previous rules. They're just better now. So I think that's something that high elf fleets is going to feel a lot less high elf. It's going to be like elemental fleets, I guess, where all the elves are going to be retiring and they're just going to be sending out elementals because elementals are probably the best part in the army, and that
So
highborn buff was really good for them. Yeah,
would that be the strikers or the protectors or just both?
both, both.
Okay.
Yep,
So
both
because
are.
we've found coming up a lot in our meta the sort of three model tough three squads tend to be in a weird place since they both take the three extra hits from blast or the three extra hits from deadly. They suffer from both styles of hits. So we found that they've not been as great as the non-tough two-up save units or the alternatively just going straight up to the single model tough 12s by
Yeah.
comparison. What's the real, I guess in the last edition, since what's the real advantage that you see in these units? What sort of role do they play in the army? And then like in what way do you think they've become better at that?
So now, like I said, I'll caveat. I haven't played 3.5, and
Yeah.
so it's so I do want to kind of say that a lot of my experience comes from 3.4. It's difficult. So I would say this first of all, it's going to be very difficult to figure out a meta here. Um, the armies, just in general, 3.5 has become a lot more wacky. It's become a lot more combo oriented. And if we think about in the future what combos are going to start really rising to there, it's hard to really say. I would say that like elemental strikers and I mean, so they're the best one, but protectors too. They are units that they have all very synergistic rules. I mean, fearless, furious for their hand-to-hand guys. I think do their shooters. Do their shooters have relentless? I think that's still the
Yes,
same.
they do.
They do
Base.
still have
And
relentless.
Relentless is
So you
actually
just
good now. They can
yeah,
move.
relentless. So you can see here they've got all the great rules. The highborn is actually great for them. It's basically a buff
Yep.
to
They're
them.
fearless. They're quality 3, so they're
Armor
tough.
3, and the strikers have shielded.
So they're
So
2 up.
really tough. the Fearless on there is great. Like, Fearless is still like I've always said. What's the morale mitigation is the key to winning this game still.
Oh yeah.
So armies like having Fearless.
Can I
is
mention
just
one sad
really
thing
solid.
about the Fearless with these guys that I discovered? So you can't put a hero in there because there's no way you can get a hero with Fearless, and all models have to have Fearless.
Yeah.
So they lose it the second someone joins them, and you really want to give them some of these hero buffs, which are amazing, but you're going to lose Fearless for doing it.
That is true, but they are so good just on their own. And
Yeah.
you know, to me, the hero. Okay, so when I look at the High Elf fleet, we'll get into their characters because I have a whole nother.
Yeah.
But I would say this: they don't quite need heroes. Like they just have what they need. With you can give them killing axes. I mean, the rending and the AP4. They have the weapons they need. You can individualize them. They're just like they are very efficient. And when you look at really any other unit in the army lists, the Elemental Protectors and Strikers they stand out completely. Maybe with the exception of which we'll get into, but maybe with the exception of probably the Spiders. What are they called?
Shifters.
They're shifters now.
They're
We'll talk
incredible.
about shifters.
Yeah, we'll talk about them later. And just before we go into the characters, there's one extra mark as well, so the piercing spotter one. So it's the equivalent of a down marker at 4 up to hit, and
That's the one you explained that before.
APX.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I don't. So I've played a lot of DAO in my testing, and so one thing I'll tell you about when you think about high level. Okay, so high level OPR, playing at a real competitive, even if you're not in a tournament, like playing at a competitive level, OPR. It's only a 4-turn game, and so much happens in those first 2 turns that to rely on a 4-up and you don't get it early, I mean you're paying a lot of points, and there is so much momentum that happens in this game that I don't like 4-ups. I mean, obviously if you want to have a fun game and you just want to roll dice, hey, I got it this time, it's fun. But I would definitely tell you that I would not advise you trying to run that, because so many armies are going to hit you so early, and there's going to be so many times you're going to really need that 4-up and you're not going to get it, and it's not worth basically bringing the points, and 20 points is too expensive for it. So that's why the Unwieldy is so great, because
It just goes off.
Guaranteed. The thing you have to remember when you're playing OPR, you have to plan ahead, and that 4-up, you just can't plan on it, right?
You can't expect it. Yeah.
Yeah. Where
You got to get
at least the
multiple
Unwieldy,
sources.
yeah, you can actually.
But
I think Unwieldy could be good if you in the right hands. Unwieldy can be very good. So maybe But
I've been thinking a lot about the Unwieldy, and I think some of either the Stingers or the Revenants, just pushing them up, and you don't have to charge. You can just push them up and you can charge when you want. You're not forced to charge immediately, because it doesn't matter when they go, they're going to go last anyway. It feels pretty nice to have as like that picket unit out the front that might be scouting, for example, like the Spiders. But yeah, I do agree that just having no roll on it is just so good for just your planning of how the game's going to go.
I think
Yeah,
the way one of the balancing features of it as a rule is the Unwieldy specifically. I don't see it being too good on the Elementals specifically, where you've got one unit that's already sort of shooting based, and like you said, you've only got one attack per model on that unit in melee.
It's
So
not just on the Elemental Strikers though; it is on the Great Elemental, which could be shooty and then it could punch you as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Great Elemental got a lot better. We'll talk about that one, but the Great Elemental did get. I'm sorry, not the Great Elemental. What's it called?
Elemental Avatar.
Yes.
They took his melter.
Elemental Avatar.
Yeah.
Yes, that one actually got a lot better.
This thing is scary.
A lot better. Especially Caster 4 on there. Although the spells aren't great. The big thing that you get with the Avatar is you don't have the hybrid attacks. that was a very good change. So
I think they
actually,
listened
high
to you
elf fleets
directly
have a
on
pretty-
that because you made that complaint in your video, saying just
Yeah.
take that off, and now it's gone. There you go.
Well, I mean, I'd like to hope that I've tried to, I don't know. Anyway, we actually, so I would say high elf fleets actually do have a decent big guy. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's low on attacks, so he's not. That's the big thing with a lot of big guys. He's only hitting at his attacks base, but he's good.
It's quality
and
too.
Caster 4 on him is. The spells for high elf fleets. Well, we'll talk into that.
Let's
later,
talk about the spells now. Let's talk about the spells now, and then we can go into the heroes.
I'm just jumping around everywhere.
No, let's do it. Let's talk about the spells. So, yeah, like you mentioned, all the spells have really changed. So typically, the armies do get a buff to whatever their standard rules are, which for high elf fleets is all the way down at level 3. But so they got the option of the unwieldy at level 1. It's kind of nice. So now your heroes can actually start spreading that around, not just the elementals. Not as reliable because you have to cast it.
That's exactly it. I feel like you would just bring that automatic, and I think you can bring 2 versions on a combined squad.
Yep.
So
you can.
it is a bit redundant. That's not the worst one. Like I said, it's better than their previous one. It's not a bad level one. I agree.
We got a level 1 blast 3, no AP on it, 18 inches though.
Good.
Just a
18 is
morale
great
check
for them. Generally squishy. Yeah, I like that one.
Kieran?
Okay, so the one thing I do want to say is I know by your standards, Nexus, with these spell lists, they weren't great before, but I guess it's the one big change in the spell list for me that in this case I see the effect greatly is the lack of sort of wide damage, like lots of hits, APX or Bane or whatever special effect on it. I think there were 2 different ones in the high elf spell list before. So
Last one they had a 8 hit spell, and then they had a 2 squads get
units
6
take
hits,
6.
and I absolutely
Yeah.
savaged you one game with those spells.
Yeah. As like alternate spells, so you have like the other spells that you might want to use more, but as alternate options of I'll just pick up a bunch of my opponent's models, or even just building for that, like the Seer Plane popping out that extra 8 hits to a unit on a 4-up every turn, felt like quite a good extra weapon essentially. And the big change I've seen for me, it's not there, and almost across the board, both the like deadly spells and the lots of hit spells have really gone away. And so that's
got
probably
one bit of spice here, which we'll talk about in a second. But
which is I like it. I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quite as good as
now,
deadly
Yeah, I mean,
one.
hidden. That's the gem. I mean,
Hitting
I think
a model.
hidden spirits. That's
hidden.
I mean, the hidden.
You like hidden spirits?
I mean, yeah, I think that's. I think it's pretty good. I
agree.
mean, it's kind of like +1 AP, +1 hit. It's basically the same thing. I mean, that's why I like about it. It's the 4+ roll to me is kind of superfluous. It's like really you're getting the same thing, and it's good. It's actually it's good. I mean, it's also more versatile because it doesn't require shooting or hitting. I think it's their best spell.
This is
and
interesting.
It's not.
For
Yeah,
me,
maybe it's not great, but
as a HDF
something that
player,
I would cast every turn. Yeah.
with this,
It's not a damage spell.
I wish it could just do one of those things rather than having to pick, because I desperately want to put this on a shifters unit, a fire prism unit, a what's it called? The Scorchers unit.
Yeah.
But if I get the AP one, it's wasted. But I mean, it'd be really good on the general sort of protectors, retributors, all those standard units who don't care what you get. They'll just be happy for anything.
I mean, you're doing this on basically, like I'm thinking about more from tournament. You're basically doing this on the strikers with their killing axes. That AP3, deadly 3, and that killing axe is going to be great.
Actually, that's really a good point. They would
You
love
do it on
this.
Scorchers with Flamers. I think I would never cast it on. I personally would never cast this on.
It is on
the
shooting,
Swiss
though, not
Tiger.
on melee axes.
You wouldn't use it on the axes, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is. Is it shooting?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Unpredictable
unpredictable
shooter.
shooter. Oh, I'm sorry. It is shooting. I take that back. Okay.
That's all
right. Um,
You have
Yeah,
a lot
I mean,
of
it's-
plus
it's
AP2
still
in this
good.
army, though.
It's still good. So I think you're still putting out elementals. The elementals, I believe, have a what do you call it? Don't they have a blast weapon?
They do have a blast, and
AP2
it
blast.
really would appreciate this because it's not reliable and it's AP2, so
Yeah,
they would love that.
That's perfect on that one. You can put it on Retributors. I think Retributors are still really solid.
That'd be a good choice.
I'm a big fan of
Retributors are
Retributors.
Yep. AP1, AP3. I mean, Retributors are probably still. They were the best thing that High Elf fleet sort of had. That were actually High Elves.
They got better.
And they're still the best thing that they have.
I like the Guardians, but we can get to that after the spell.
So with these ones, this is a new thing for spells that's happened in 3.5. You can actually pick models now. So this allows you to snipe out banners, sergeants, medics, special weapons, even heroes if you want to pick away at them with multiple spells. In our games that we've had, this is actually really effective.
It can't. Yeah, it's. I would have preferred the deadly. Okay, so here's my thing about spells. Like spells in 3.5, I don't see them as being really competitive anymore. I think they're really spells got basically nerfed.
Dow spells.
I got absolutely smashed by 2 Dow spellcasters yesterday, but yes, continue.
I mean, I would say this. I have seen spells get nerfed over. I mean, because spells were a lot better, and when you count in the fact that you've got that randomness and that they can be here, I think spells to me did get nerfed. I think some armies still have decent spells. I don't think High Elf fleets have great spells. They're okay. Like I would say this. I don't know that I'd want to pay. What is it, 55 points for a level 3? I mean, you'd really want to bring about. So think about this. You really want to bring about caster 6 in your army. So you're talking about devoting 110 points. And by the way, that 110 points comes with the fact that you can't bring something else.
Yep.
As we're going to talk in there, High Elf fleets just have better upgrades. So now you can bring it on that's why the elemental avatar is great, and I think the plane, the Seer Plane.
The Seer Plane is so
because you don't need to trade that for heroes because High Elf fleets already have good. They already have good upgrades, so it's kind of a question: pay less for an upgrade that you're guaranteed to get. That kind of thing, as we're going to talk about with High Elf fleets, it's basically on their characters hit and run. I think is just
such a good option.
Especially for 10 points, it's just bonkers.
So let's just look at the cap spells. So we've got a 3 units within 12 inches get highborn boost, which means they go 10 inches on an advance and 16 on a run.
It's crazy you pay 3 for this one. I mean, most of the other lists have it as their 1 cost.
I see how good this is, but
pretty bad.
I see how good this is, but if I want to move 10 inches as part of my army plan, I don't want it to go off on 50-50. I need it to happen. Otherwise, I'm screwing myself.
3 units. This would be decent as a level 1. I'd actually prefer this as a level 1, and I'd prefer the unwieldy as a level 3.
Yeah, actually, if they changed around the unwieldy and just put highborn boost at 18 inches level 1 for 1 unit, and then Blessing of Souls unwieldy on 3 units, then that would actually be a lot better. You're right.
Yeah, I think that you don't need 3 units. And it's only, remember, you're paying a level 3. That's very difficult to get off. And you just oftentimes don't need it. So this, like I said, you're pretty much using, as far as a buff spell, the level 2. And in many ways, High Elf fleets, and now the level 1 unwieldy is okay. I think it's situational, which is fine. But I think that in the High Elf fleets, you're casting your level 2 every turn, and when the situation arises, you're casting that level 1. So,
and if you can pick off
that's why it's really good on the elemental avatar. The elemental avatar casting that level 1 is actually really good.
Yeah.
because
Just on itself.
he's walking
Yeah.
up.
Or
He's
to
walking
defend
up a
itself.
hand-to-hand monster, and he's picking out something and being like, "Okay, I'm gonna smack you first."
So this last one, it's the big blast. Well, in quotation marks. So 6 hits, AP1, and you got to roll for each of those hits to see if they get an extra AP2 on top. It's not enough damage for me for three casting points.
12 inches too. It's
Yeah.
too close.
So overcosted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like it at all. It's
No.
like I said, the spells aren't. I don't know that I would want to pay 55 points. I definitely wouldn't pay it on the characters. It's just not worth it. I mean, the upgrades on the characters you've got because they're consistent and their upgrades on their characters are actually decent. That you're actually able to bring a pretty strategic army with their upgrades and not care about the randomness of a spell.
So let's have a look at some of those upgrades. Hit and run shooter. Oh, go ahead.
Hit and run is stupid. I mean, I think that's ridiculous for 10 points to do that. I think it was the worst part of the old 3.4 army. It's an
ridiculously
way
strong.
To play. It's not ridiculous. It's a feast and famine list. It's either one, you're going to get murdered because there's going to be a hand-hand armor that's going to be all fast, or two, you're just going to annoy your opponent to death by shooting him and then backing outside of his charge range. I really don't like hit and run in OPR. I found it to be I'm always one of these people. I don't think you should win by annoying your opponent, and I think it's an annoying rule. The fact that some armies all get and it's been cheapened by 10 points is crazy. I'm not sure how they got 10 points on that rule.
It's kind of interesting too, because you can use this as if you got a squad with something long range, like Protectors, for example, they can have some 24-inch or 30-inch options. You can move 8, because you've got your highborn, and then you can shoot something with your long range weapon and then move 3 inches forward as well. So it's almost like you're pseudo running and shooting at the same time, even without doing the moving back out of charge range stuff. It's a very versatile and powerful rule.
I think you're still doing this with shifters. This and teleport. There is just going to be so much annoying shenanigans. 10-man squad of shifters with this leader. You're just going to murder a unit and then just hide or teleport or do something. Teleport's not bad, but I've played this and I generally don't like to play feels bad armies, and I think that's what you're really left with High Fleets, is just grabbing some shifters, grabbing some Retributors, and just hit and running them to death. And then your opponent's, I think the other ones are good. The Shred is good. The Highborn boost is not great. I mean, the problem is hit and run is just so much better than anything else.
Hit and run is more versatile than the Highborn boost for 90% of cases, and it's cheaper.
It's the best rule, and it's only 10 points. So why would you pay 35 or 55 points? You could just pay 10 points and just...
Your thoughts?
In your mind, with the hit and run, what exactly is the maneuver that's happening that puts it so far above the rest? Is it the moving, shooting, and then ducking back behind cover that's obscuring, so they don't even get to shoot you back? Is that the sort of picture?
You can definitely... I think this is still where you have to... so I think them and shifters is still just a great combination, right? Where you move, you get a teleport in between there. You basically can just pick out... You can pick out a Hive Lord, pick out something that's only a 12-inch move, mow it down, and then just get outside of its charge range.
Get outside of its charge,
Exactly what you were doing with your Dow, Kieran, with Melters.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I think...
you can put it on other things. You can put it on Retributors, but the shifters, especially with their AP4 and their teleport.
Yes.
The thing is that you're just going to just murder whatever you shoot at, and then you're just going to, if it was close to something, you just back out of range.
And
it's only 10 points.
It's only 10 points. You could get this on an elite protector, and it could be a 40-point model, and
it's ridiculous.
And it's giving so much versatility.
The whole squad.
Yeah, I think you bring the noble and you give him because you can give him a a shifter suit.
Yep.
And you
And
can
a
give
whip
him
spinner.
a twin fusion or whatever.
Just- He can
I
contribute.
mean, I think you are right. You can put it on things like Vanquishers, and just have them walk out, shoot something, and just go back into cover, which is equally annoying. So you can do it on Vanquishers too.
Yeah,
that's a
I
fair
think
one.
as well in this edition, we were talking about these spells and how they weren't that good. And I think you're right on something, which is that what I found is this edition has a hero tax more than the last one. You feel like you've got to fill out all your hero slots, and each of those hero slots have got to be doing the most they can to your army, because some of the upgrades, like in this case hit and run shooter, are just hitting, like they just do too much not to take. So the real question isn't whether or not you take a hero with a buff for a squad, it's which hero you take with which buff. And is caster worth giving up on stuff like hit and run shooter on a squad just so that you can get those spells somewhere?
Yeah.
High
So
elf
that's-
fleets are unique in that they have casters elsewhere that are actually pretty good that aren't their heroes, so they don't have to even
Plane.
make the choice.
That's
Which
right.
we can. So one thing that I found in this list, just playing around with builds and things, is this shred in melee aura is actually pretty terrifying. So there's a lot of either reliable or just straight 2-up quality melee units in high elf fleets, which means you just pump in a lot of hits into someone, which is going to result in a lot of ones to block to hit, dealing a lot of extra wounds, like the, for example, the Stingers or the Jetbike Strikers with their both impacts and their lances. It's actually not a terrible, like a Elven Noble
It's
with shredded melee
okay.
can do 10 Space Marine kills with the squad on an attack.
It's okay. Yeah, it is okay. Strikers to me are just way too pricey for their points. Um, Stingers, the problem with Stingers is they're just very pricey. 185 for effectively a Def 4 unit. They've got that pistol tax on them, and they're not nearly as good. Because there's a big difference between a unit with scout and can charge 16 inches and the one that can charge 14.
Yeah.
Those 2 extra inches really matter, and that is why I don't care for. I would just prefer them just get fast. I mean, it made the army a lot more versatile. Now, you can't quite play, what I loved playing in old high elf fleets. I loved playing the get in close, hit you hard, and sort of. I love the hand-to-hand aspect. And I think that Stingers and Revenants definitely took a hit. Just
They're a lot
with
cheaper now.
14 is
The
charge.
Stingers. A lot cheaper than
Stingers
they
are
used to be.
185. That's still too expensive. I mean, when you look
Does
at
seem a
like
bit
some
high.
of the other, yeah, I mean, and Revenant's 160. I mean, you can look at, like I always say, look at like Soul Snatchers. I mean, those guys are just
Yeah.
they're just better. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like I think that the problem with high elf fleets now is that if from a competitive standpoint, elementals are just the way you go now. Elementals with a few like Retributors, you can't do any hand to hand with non-elementals. It's just not really worth it.
Do you not see much cheap shotgun spam in competitive?
You mean like the Protectors?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it can. I'm guessing cheap shotgun salmon Protectors have always been good. They're now 90. They used to be what, 105? So they
115
definitely
maybe.
benefit from Highborn. Yeah,
Were
they
they
definitely
always
benefit
2-shot?
from it.
I thought they were
They were
one.
always
They're
two
always
shot,
2-shot.
but they had rending.
They're always 2-shot. They're not as like I said, they're cheaper now. So they are definitely one of the units that got a lot of buffs. Them at 105. 90 isn't great. The other problem with High Fleet, they don't have great chaff. So at least they have some cheaper chaff now. And that can still do pretty decent.
Would you ever
So
buy
I
any of these
do
long
think-
range guns on the Guardian / Protectors? Just purely
I've never done
keep
it.
the shotguns. Don't worry about
Shotguns. I like them in 5-man units. They're good chaff. That can also hit pretty hard. Like 10 shots on 4s it's okay. Like you can actually take out other chaff. 90 points is still expensive for chaff at quality 4, but it's fine.
So how would you run your Oh, there's one extra thing we should talk about. There's a different one on the Elite Protector. They have both Spell Conduit and Reposition Artillery. So have you seen this before?
I think what is Reposition Artillery?
They just straight up move an artillery 9 inches within 6, and artillery can't move now. They can only make hold actions. So this is the only way they can move.
Oh, damn.
9 inches is quite far, by the way. That's pretty far.
It is. It's okay. The problem is that their artillery is already long range enough, right? Don't they still have 30-inch range on their artillery? Is it mostly 30? Mostly 24. And I always like that burst mortar is great.
24 inches is the minimum. 24, 30, or 36. And the heavy mortar's technically 6. It's pretty crazy, but yeah.
The other thing, I think the problem is that artillery got a lot worse because remember, artillery used to ignore Balval for whatever reason. So that artillery used to be hitting 12 times. I just think that 30 inches is, especially with blast and indirect, it's just going to get you what you need. I would never run. That's the only thing I would ever run, is the heavy mortar, which I think is really solid. I mean, 30 inches, blast 2 attacks, indirect.
1 attack.
It's really
AP2.
good.
Oh, sorry, the heavy mortar. This one. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't value the Deadly 6 heavy mortar?
No.
Really?
I think that. No, I just don't. I don't know. It's just not 4.
It's hitting on 2s, by the way, and -2 to be hit. So it's a tough lad, and it's shooting very accurately.
Is it hitting on 2s?
Yeah, so this new artillery keyword, it gets +1 to hit anything 9 inches away, and anything 9 inches away gets -2 to hit it, and it's tough 3. So it's very cheap, and it's 2 up to hit.
I mean, I guess to me, I still just like the 100. I'm a big points guy, and I think that 150 points is actually really good.
By the way,
cheap.
Anyone running artillery, you have to click this stealth button for 5 points, so it's -3 to hit it, and then it's incredibly annoying to deal with.
I disagree.
You don't? You did what?
Yeah, I wouldn't bring the stealth.
Really?
Yeah. If you're desperate for 5 points, yeah, I don't think it's worth it. I think that -2.
I think that's a loose change button. You got 5 points at the end. You put that on. But
I wouldn't put it on. But I mean, I can see you go either way. It depends on your meta. I mean, let's be honest. I think that the artillery is going to be hit with ambushers and. I think the heavy mortar. The biggest problem with the heavy mortar is 24 inches. Remember, that 6 inches really solid that you can pick out. What you really want to do is you want to be able to pick out the key units. So, and it's only 150 points. So it's just cheap enough that your opponent doesn't want to have to they have to devote a 300 or 400 point unit to get it, right? So it's
probably with unstoppable.
Yeah, basically ignorable. They'll ignore it, so it's tanky. It has artillery, so it's tanky. The stealth's kind of superfluous at that point. And it's just 2 blasts you can apply wherever you want with the indirect.
Yeah, and the other thing is just I don't think the reposition artillery is that important, especially because you can bring, like I said, shred and melee, the increased shooting range. Expense again. I don't know. It's hit and run shooter is the problem.
Yeah.
I think the other problem is that again we go back to it. When you have a 10-point hit and run shooter, it's very difficult to find.
Now there's one extra one we haven't talked about: increased shooting range for 6 inches of the unit that it's in. So you can get Guardians up to 18. You can get the Retributors up to 24. Vanquishers up to 42 or something.
18-inch flamers.
18-inch flamers. Yep. Very good point. Yep.
It's pricey, but yes, I think that's the other thing that if you can choose. I would choose Meltas myself.
Yep.
18-inch Meltas are well worth it. Take it from
because then you're a 26-inch threat range. 8 plus 8 is 26. So first turn, you can walk up and just unload into some big creature on their front line. So, yeah.
And you're not in a threat to get charged from most things, which is very nice.
Highly rate.
Yep.
So, would you
So
give them any kind of weapon upgrades or anything? Something. So, if they're in an AP4 squad, give them the web spinner. If they're in
you mean the Elite Protector?
either of them, the noble or the elite protector, they have slightly different things.
Does he get the range too? Oh, no,
Only the
that
elite
was
protector gets the range. The noble doesn't get it. He gets
range.
cast to 3.
Yeah, I mean the noble. What you're basically doing with the noble, you're either giving him. I imagine if you're gonna run a noble, you're probably running him with a shifter suit. You're doing the shifter spam.
Yep.
Which I think.
So you'd go shifter suit, ambush
I don't
teleport.
know.
With
I think it's
a
what you
Delph
do.
four
It's
of them
gonna-
as well.
you can
maybe
yeah.
you put a maybe you can give him ambush and do
He gets it.
something with the ambush, and you can give like him a melter. So maybe you drop him in with the what do you call it? The
Great fusion
flyer?
axe.
No, I mean like the great fusion axe, and you drop him in with the birds.
Oh,
Gliders,
okay.
that's what they are.
The gliders.
The gliders are okay. 150 is not bad. They've got 9-inch pistols is great. I'd only run them with their 9-inch pistols.
Really?
And
Over the
yeah,
18
that's
inch.
how I would.
Okay.
No, it's not worth it. I like them with I like them with just at 150. And you can bring the 300, drop him in there, and then you ambush in, and then, like I said, you just unload, what is that, 20 shots, and then he can have a different weapon, or he can have something, or he can.
You're getting
know,
a discount on the 18 inches though by getting rid of the 2 attack CCWs. So you're getting 9 extra inches for 10 points across the board, and you're only losing close combat attacks.
Yeah, I like the 9-inch for them. I just think it synergizes so well with ambush and flying and highborn.
Do you go heavy laser
I
blaster?
think that 18 inches with ambush and highborn is like 18 is just not worth it. And actually, the 2 attacks makes them pretty decent in hand to hand.
Would you upgrade a heavy blaster out of the lasers, or just run straight with
I
the?
wouldn't.
Just
I
cheap.
wouldn't.
You just like it as a nice cheap piece.
Yeah, I like them cheap. I like it 300 points. I've played them before. They're not the best, but I painted some swooping hawks.
Do you
And I'm
ever
like, I'm
upgrade
gonna
crossing
use
attack grenade packs?
No.
Yeah, this is so hard to
Yeah,
use.
that's a joke. Come on.
Jeez,
It's so hard to
how is that
use.
10 points?
All right,
How's that 10 points?
what about this
Actually,
piercing
on-
spotter then? Because this can get them up to AP 3 potentially.
And
If
for
you
20
if you rely on the 4-up?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
I
mean, like I
you
said,
mentioned 20 shots from these guys, and they're one-shot pistols, aren't they?
2-shot pistols. Are they 1-shot pistols now?
Maybe they
No.
changed
Oh, they
them.
changed them. I'm sorry. And this is
That's why-
where I haven't.
When
Oh,
you
no,
said that, I was
they
like,
changed
what?
them. Oh, they did change. I'm sorry. I was so thinking that I was looking at 3.4.
I think they didn't give them
Oh, wow, they're
AP2
bad
before,
now.
so now
Okay,
they're one
just
attack
bad.
AP2
Okay,
instead of
scratch-
2-shot
scratch
AP0.
everything. Okay, scratch everything. Gliders are terrible.
That's what I thought. I was like, you're
Gliders are
dropping
terrible.
300
Okay.
points for 10
Now I'm
pistols.
even more annoyed because
Yeah.
I painted some stupid hawks. Jeez, gliders are
Oh, they're
terrible
beautiful
now.
models, though, aren't they?
Thank you, OPR. For
Yeah, thanks, Tano.
Thank
All right.
you.
So
No, they're crappy. Jeez.
let's go into the base troops then. So we'll start with the. I guess we'll start from
Poor guys,
Acolytes.
I'm so salty. I apologize.
It's okay. So these are the Seer Council Warlocks. So they have caster groups, so they have an amount of dice equal to the amount in the unit, either 3 or 6, and they have the option of Jetbikes, which has got it a lot cheaper now, and you can run AP4 or just keep their AP1 rending swords with 2 attacks each.
I don't like them. I
Don't like them.
The spells dropped out.
Way
I-
too squishy.
I
Way
loved
too
these in
squishy.
last edition because they could
Yeah.
just bomb people and then also melee them at the same time, but they've lost
Yeah.
that bombing potential, which is a huge
Yep,
shame.
Exactly. They are way too. I mean, they're just way too squishy, way too expensive, and you'd have to run these in combined squads. Like,
Yeah.
so it's 250 basically, because you want to get the 6 caster tokens.
And at that point, you also probably want to put them on jet bikes too, because 6 dudes is not hard
and
to
then
kill.
they're just really pricey.
Yeah.
I do agree that if you're going to run them, you put them on jet bikes, just because if you're going to have a caster group, you want them to be tougher.
Yep.
Caster group on single wound models is not good.
Yeah.
Especially at 4/4 quality 4/4,
Mm.
it's like they're not tough. They're not a good quality. Like if they had a higher quality, maybe, or if they had a lower quality, they'd be better. But the fact that quality 4 on them is just, that is rough, man.
You need a real
Like,
plan for these spells if you're going to be taking them. There's got to be some kind of tactic you've got here that you just want to go off in order to
I just don't think there is
justify them.
anymore.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, before you'd run a 6-man and you'd pop out of a transport with them and throw a 2 up to hit, 8 wounds on one guy on one squad, 8 hits.
Then it was 8 hits, and then you can do
And
6
then-
hits on 2, and then you can melee them, and then they're in huge trouble.
Oh, cool! I'll just pick up the squad then. Yeah,
And the other squad.
Yeah, and the other squad. True.
that's the big thing where and this is where I don't like spells have gotten really nerfed. I tried not to follow 3.5, the beta, just because but I did notice like there was a time spells were ridiculous, and then they got like, oh geez, and so we would need to see how the meta is going to play out, but I don't see spells being part of the meta
A big
anymore.
part of it. No.
Yeah.
So-
Unless now there's certain armies, maybe, but not for most armies.
So Acolytes, a bit of a niche pick. Retributors. What do you think?
Still good.
I love
Yep,
them.
still great. They're both in whether you run them as the cheap chaff at 90 points, they're good, or you run them with your shard rifles. They're great.
I've found running them. Yeah, so you're exactly right. They don't have a hybrid tax. They either have their swords and they're cheap, or they just go to shard carbines and they shoot really well. And they're surprisingly tanky for elves because they're shielded, so they're quality 3, defense 3. They have the option of regeneration, so they can be a 10-man squad of regen with 3 up defense, and they're 250 points. That's quite a lot of toughness for not much points. And you can make them shooty too.
You make them. I like them at 300. So I like them with their shards. So one thing, this is one of the few armies that I actually like bringing the shard pistol on 1 or 2 of them, because them actually having a little bit of hand-to-hand punch is actually pretty nice. Because you, so what you do is you would bring like one with like either a dire sword or energy sword is fine. I like them actually with dire swords.
I like the dire swords too. Yeah.
Blast.
Yeah, the blast on there is great, and you got to realize too, it's like what happens with these guys. They're going to charge. They're going to get about 2 rounds of shooting. Something is going to charge them. It's going to kill about 7 or 8 of them. You take those 7 or 8 off, and then you have 2 guys that are going to be pretty good fighters.
Blasting.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you think about it that way, that's pretty efficient. In the sense that it's almost like these 2 guys, they're going to strike last in hand-to-hand, and then of course the regen aura is great on them. They're still really solid.
These guys respond really well to those hero buffs too, of like moving after shooting and everything like that. They love all that with 18-inch shots.
But at the same time, they're actually a unit that don't need a lot of buffing. They're
That's
good
true.
on their own.
That's true.
They are just, and actually, this is one of the things where them having. So this is the unit that got really buffed because they lost fast, so they can't. But they're always going to be moving and shooting. So this is one of the units that got buffed. Retributors were the best high elves. They're better now. I always run 2 or 3 units of them. I mean, they're really solid. And I generally will add that dire sword upgrade. It gives, like I said, what's going to happen is that dire sword is going to. They are going to shoot and they're going to get charged, right? And then like they're never going to charge, and you're going to lose about 6 or 7 of them, and then you're going to have these 2 guys with their dire swords that are actually going to they'll do work.
This is a unit that actually likes that unwieldy buff, by the way, because they can fight okay, and like you mentioned, they're going to be shooting, so now they get to fight first with their melee. Even better.
The Sergeant special melee weapon as just a nice addition is something we've talked about as well for DAO and HDF. It's just in most melee fights, you're going to lose, like you said, the majority of your squad, but it's only the last 1 or 2, which will be the sergeants, which get to do that, like the power fist or the energy sword or something like that, and do a surprising amount of damage back, because your other 1 attack guys weren't going to do a lot anyway. So definitely.
It works on some units. Like I wouldn't do it with Space Marines because they only get one shot with their bolters or what are they called, heavy rifles. But these guys get like, I mean, I would say this, when you're shooting 20 shots and 16 shots, there's not that big of a difference, really. And the pistol is, like I said, I have found that 16 shots is generally going to do what I need it to do than what 20 shots could do. And I just had yeah, this is actually a unit that I do like giving them shard upgrades. I've run them many times.
Do you run the carbines?
Really well. I never run the twins. I always feel it's a little pricey. Although you can do it.
Gets them up to 20 shots, even with the dice.
I mean, I think you can do that if you're really. It does start to make them really pricey, but yeah, I think that's fine too. It's the problem with doing that one. I think is that you start getting too many individual characters.
Yeah.
Right. I like just having 2 guys in there. That way they can lose 7 or 8 of them. Because throughout a game, that's the reason I don't like having more than like maybe 1 or 2 of these, like you mentioned, upgrade guys, because then you lose 4 or 5 of them, and then I mean, I think if you run the twin shard carbines, you don't give them the pistols. You just make that unit a pure shooting. They're getting 24 shots or something like that. I think
20. So if they don't run that, they're giving up regen by not doing that, but they go to 24 shots. Yeah.
Yeah, and that
combined.
Would be, what is that going to come out to, like 330? I think.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's a lot of shots for 330 on a decent
330
quality.
18-inch range. Yeah. They're, like I said, they're the best thing in High Elf fleets, and they got better with Highborn. So yeah.
Kieran?
Yeah. I mean, personally, I'd see more use out of Strikers if I was building for shooting, because I would prefer them to be chaffier than they are. But I can definitely, well, I guess since we're onto them now, well, that's not onto them, that's Protectors, is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, you think about Protectors? Yeah,
Strikers are still bad.
Who wants to scout? I understand what they're doing with this, but they're not choppy enough to be a melee unit. They're very squishy. And if I want Flamers and Fusion, I'll get them elsewhere.
You're not going to put that on your choppy unit, are you? Because you want to be charging, not...
Yeah, and these guys aren't choppy. Yeah. They're less choppy than the Retributors.
Yeah.
And those... I'd still go to Retributors because that quality 4 is a rough one. And the thing is that those protectors... those protectors, you're gonna have so many games and they're not that much of a different in price. Like, it's, to me, that armor 4 and the extra quality is worth it for Retributors. In this game, quality 3 is a big difference in quality 4. Yeah, but I can see what you mean. Going for cheaper, where you're sort of counting on the 6s more, it's a fair strategy to like you mentioned, flood protectors. You're talking about sort of like flooding protectors, right?
Yeah, let's move on to the Protectors.
Bring a lot of like 5 or 10 mans. It's a fair strategy. Yeah.
Their upgrades are terrible as well. Yeah, you wouldn't upgrade them ever, right? But yeah, a couple of units of these are sort of like dummy activations. They're speed bumps your opponent has to get around or kill, and they don't. It hurts to shoot at something so cheap. But with the 2 attacks each at 12 inches, it's not ignorable, right? It's what, 10 shots, so it's 5 hits on average. Crack, probably one of them is AP2. That's going to be able to morale test most things on average.
Of a similar quality.
And against chaff v chaff, it's gonna do what it's supposed to do. So
that's right.
I like these more for that aspect. And also, I think one of my problems with the Retributors in comparison, which I think I might be alone in my belief here on this front, but is that they fill a role of that sort of relatively high quality range damage output that I'd rather get from some of the other units in the game. I'd rather get it from stuff like Flamer stuff for infantry or Melter stuff for tanks. The high quality anti-infantry that's not sort of going more into that blast territory, I would be hesitant to go for personally. So that's why I personally think I'd use the Protectors more.
Is this the default chaff we're recommending to people? Just a 5-man, no upgrade protectors group, just a 2 or 3 to run around and activate and maybe get an objective somewhere?
And I think that's fair. I mean, I think that you said a lot of good points. Protectors, they're what I call quasi chaff. They are like
because it's not a 10-man
that
base.
will or more expensive, but you will beat. So the way you play them is that your goal is to actually kill the other chaff. Because
these will beat up recruits.
They will. Well, exactly. They can generally kill or maim other chaff. And the thing with what makes chaff really annoying is having a high quality unit kill a chaff unit. But if your chaff can actually take out or at least waver their chaff, you're not having to devote that activation. So I call it quasi chaff as a term.
That's an interesting concept.
The problem is Def 5, they're so squishy. And quality, that's the thing with them, is that they die really fast and they can waver. You've really got to play these guys. You know, when I look at Retributors, the Armor 4 is great, and the Regen Aura is just so good. Like, you get these guys in cover. You get these guys in cover. That's basically a 3-up armor with regen.
5-up.
They are tanky. Like they're tanky, like you mentioned. But I do see where you're going. I've played Protectors, and I do agree. I think that if you run a lot of Protectors, that actually could be an interesting strategy. Or maybe you run them in a 10-man squad.
Like a horde of Protectors? Just trying to outvalue the opponent?
I think that if you run a Protectors, you're running them in a 10-man squad, and you're putting that noble to get the quality 3. Then they feel a lot better, because then they've got that quality 3 on them.
Because
now,
reason?
Hit and run. I think you can even do I think the hit and run is fine on them. And again, that's
resistance?
when I would run a 10-man squad.
Resistance is 2-up defense against spells and 6-up normal.
And 6-up. Why not?
I wouldn't put that on them.
I would put that on them.
I'd put the hit and run on them.
Yeah,
that's decent. Yeah, it's sort of like if you can't afford shifters, your 10-man squad for them is fine. And now they have that quality 3. Now you're not a 50-50 for them to waver, you know.
Yeah. The defensive, that's what you want. You want your chaff to survive the morale check, so your opponent has to waste another activation trying to...
That's right.
So we talked a bit about them before. Gliders. Oh, now, they lost those 2 attacks. They did get the AP2, because I don't know if they were AP2 before. I don't think they were.
Horrible.
Not a trade-off.
Terrible unit now.
So it's 300 points for 10 attacks.
Yeah, they used to be good. Now they're terrible.
You'd run them charging now, presumably, but...
You don't charge with these, oh my god.
Even then, it's just 2... They can't get a squad-wide melee weapon, can they? Just the sergeant one?
No.
You could do a crossing attack and then charge.
No.
You could do a crossing attack and charge. No, they don't even... They get some energy swords.
They were good in 3.4. In 3.4, they had the laser pistols with 2 attacks, and the CC was okay. They were expensive, but they were decent. Now they're...
This doesn't have the output. I feel like Retributors would just eat their lunch in this regard, but oh well.
Do you think the machine Colts equivalent, their flying ones, also lost the 2-shot from their pistols? I might check that.
I haven't checked.
No, they still have it. You just don't get it.
Alright, so Revenants, we got the Banshee equivalents. They haven't changed very much. They got slightly cheaper because they're... I suppose they lost fast, which is pretty critical for them because they don't get a 6-inch charge now.
That actually makes them really bad because remember so many other units have 16-inch fast chargers, and now Banshees basically can't threaten those units. Right, that's a big difference. This is a hand-to-hand unit, and there are so many units in this game that have fast and Strider that Banshees just can't deal with anymore. Right, because it used to be now because they were both 16 inches. Those units couldn't get within 16 inches of them. Right, because the Banshees could charge them. Yeah, they're bad now. I would definitely pay more points to have these guys. And this is the problem. I go back to it. The problem with army-wide rules is that the whole point is that Banshees in the lore were faster. So give them fast. Like, why does every... I don't know. I'm not going to get on that train.
Now, you really dislike Fear, which is interesting, because
Terrible.
we're actually a huge fan of Fear. So go through Fear for you. Why would you not take Fear 2?
Not on a squad, I think, but
Yeah.
definitely on tanks and
Robots
stuff.
and
Fear is
such.
really good. Mechs.
That's exactly right. Fear is good on super tough units. Units that have like a high defense. They are going to charge something, kill it, but they're going to be exhausted. But now they have this fear. So when something charges them, they've got the toughness, and they've got that armor too, and maybe regen, so that it's actually going to be difficult to get 2 or 3 or 4 wounds on them. Revenants are not that. They're def 4, and they're going to die easily. So the fear is useless on them.
If they get punched back, they just die.
They die.
Fear
Yeah,
won't matter.
it's never, or if they're exhausted, and that's where fear is great on really tough units, because every wound to get, again, it protects them because they're able to charge in, but they're exhausted, so they're not going to win combat. But they can win combat with their fear, but also that def 2, and maybe they have regen, or maybe they have something else, right? Now that fear is actually worth it. These Banshees, remember, units like this, they're gonna just get murdered. You know, they're gonna hit a unit, and they're generally gonna die. Fear's never gonna. It's 20 points for them is just way too much.
If anything charges them, it's not going to be the sort of thing that can't deal with defense 4 up. And it's important to always remember that fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little guy that brings total annihilation.
So let's
Yeah,
go
they
on
got Revenants, and I love Banshees.
Yeah.
I love them, and they got
Beautiful models once again.
They do look
them
cool.
and Stingers. As we get into it, Stingers are even in a worse spot because they are 185 is
They're
just
more
way too
expensive.
for them.
Yay!
And they don't have rending. They're
And-
going in a different direction with the Bane. They ignore regen and make people reroll 6s. So these are chaff killers, unlike the Banshees. These guys only want to go into chaff. Big blobs of chaff.
They are great with fast. I mean, as expensive as they are, I would pay for fast on these guys, because Scout, you want that 16-inch charge range. Remember, they don't even have what's it called, Strider. So you've basically, a lot of times you gotta have to run around terrain.
Yep.
And the 14 inches is just, it's not worth it. 185 is, they basically, they can't fill their role anymore. And it's a really sad thing. Like High Fleets in 3.5, it's a really sad thing. This army has become so one-dimensional now. It's really sad. You know, you've really just got maybe 1 or 2 builds
So speaking of one-dimensional,
it's a travesty.
warp
guys.
spiders / shifters. Your backline defense 2 unit, it doesn't exist anymore. Sorry. Shifters came in and hit it with 24
Nice
AP4
tank.
attacks.
Round 2, goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
These guys are
they're better now
incredible.
because Highborn. Actually, they are even better because they used to not have fast.
Yeah.
So they're a little more maneuverable.
Yeah.
That's great. They are terrific. I mean, they're just, you can run them anyway. You can run them with the double web spinner. You can run them, you can run them with 5-man squads. 10-man squads are great. I mean, the infamous 10-man squad hit and run is...
They like hero support for the even
It's a
more
combo that I
movement.
don't play just because it's so mean.
Yeah.
It's just mean to do.
Yeah, when I used
don't
this
wanna see
unit,
that
I
on
was
my
shocked at how much damage they could put out. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, they are, again, them and Retributors are probably the high elf. You know, the high elves are just going to be just mass production of Retributor and Spider and Shifter suits.
I was going to say, you
Yes.
want Warning Cry all over your deployment zone if you're coming
For
up
these,
against a high elf.
well, they don't care. So they'll just
Infinity
teleport and move around. And
I know,
don't
they
care.
go so fast.
They'll just teleport through. They don't care about your warning cry.
What, 14 inches is that?
So
And
they're
then
8 and then 6, and then they
putting-
could move another 3 after shooting you. Like, yeah.
Ugh.
The teleport on them is very key because it's very, and I know this both playing with and against them, it's very difficult to counter them. that teleport is so difficult to plan against. It's so difficult to, because remember, you can go through terrain, you can pass through walls, you can. It's just such a difficult unit. The AP4, and again, hit and run with them. It's despicable. It's gross.
It's disgusting levels of
How
mobility.
is hit and run 10 points now? How is that happening? Who thought of that idea?
It's just a give me for high elf fleets.
10
Here's your
points.
good option.
Jeez.
So these guys are again simple but good. What do you think about Scorchers?
Good.
Fire dragons.
We're good. I mean, you have to build an army around them. I play Scorchers consistently. They do well, but I build my army. You can't just run them like you mentioned. You have to, because they are squishy. If you can build your army around them and you know how to protect them, they're great. But if you don't know how to play with them, they're useless because they're just going to get mowed down.
Do you transport them?
But they are very good, and
Yeah,
I
fixing
love them
transport?
with their. Yeah, I mean the fusion rifles are terrific on them. Yeah, I don't do the transport now. I
Really?
just
Okay.
I run them. Yeah,
That you just use their speed to
Behind
just get
other
around.
units, or
I do that. So what I do is now, like I said, I understand that an opponent. So here's the thing: it is true that an opponent, if they really want to, can kill this unit. But if they do, if you play them right, you will make your opponent overextend to kill this unit. Right?
Mm-mm.
Remember, if you run them like as a six, you run them always as a 6-man squad. You never run them in 3-mans, because you want that threat. So what you generally can do is if you play them right, you will force your opponent to devote a 400, 500 pound unit, like maybe a 500 point unit to kill this 200, 300 point unit, right? Because the threat of them is so good. That's what you do. So the way is that yes, your opponent probably could kill them, but if you play them right, you force your opponent to basically overextend. If that makes sense.
you bait out the wrong enemy unit that lets you take it out cheaper.
Yeah.
This is your distraction
and
kind
if
effects.
you don't take them out, then it's gonna be six
It's
flamers
win-win.
or 6 melters to the face. No.
With a good quality.
And
And that's always good.
That'll one shot 12 wounds. What I like these guys so much as 6-man squad, you one shot tough 12 units without like regen.
Yeah.
So, and tough 12 is very important in this game. A lot of dreadnoughts, hive lords, a lot of these units are at tough 12. So to be able on average just to one shot those units is great.
Would you put a supporting commander in here with either hit and run or extra range? Maybe an extra melter?
I
Probably
actually
extra
like
range.
them just on their own. I like them because the thing is that again, let's just suppose you run them as you can run them as. So I'd always run them in combined squads. You want that. You want that punch. A 3-man squad is like you want this squad that whatever they shoot at. Remember, they're getting within 12 inches. That whatever they shoot at within 12 is going to die. Right. And either I guarantee you 6 meltas or 6 flamers is going to do that. If you're shooting if you're shooting a squad, 6 flamers
squad.
to the face is going to.
They're heavy flamers
Because
too, so they're AP1, which is actually huge.
Yeah, I know, but I like them as fusions or the fusions is because there is still a big guy meta in here. And again, they're still cheap. I think the fusions are 280.
280
6
for
of
a
them?
combined.
Yeah.
That's not that expensive.
No.
And to have them, all you really do is to have them just do one shot, walk up there, shoot a 600-700 point unit, kill it or heavily maim it, and then them die.
This unit,
So
if
the
it
way
gets
I
to
see
shoot, can
any
earn its
additional-
points every round.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
mean they're only going to get one shot, but if they can kill 500-600 points, that's good. It's like,
And they can
So-
very much do that. One thing,
but you have to protect them. You have to
Yeah.
protect them. You have to baby them. If you
I-
don't,
so-
they're just going to get killed.
so this plays into, I think, what maybe it's just one of the philosophies or the ways that I play is the what was it, the Protectors, the cheap shotgun unit.
Yep.
A unit of these of Protectors sort of babysitting the Scorchers, standing out in front, sort of blocking line of sight from whichever direction is most harmful to the Scorchers, and then you get some leeway with obscuring terrain. So you don't necessarily need to use obscuring terrain because you can block vision with the protectors out the front. It's not too much. It's 90 points, and now that 90-point unit's got to necessarily draw even more fire from your opponent because they're so worried about those fusion rifles. And I think you do make a good point where you want your opponent to come out of position to take out the Scorchers, and I think it's that them needing to get line of sight is the way they do that. So the Protectors, I think, as well, is a nice little 90 points there that can help you force your enemy into that position. Or at the very least, force them to activate something to shoot the Protectors instead, which, who cares if they do that?
Yeah, I think if you went that route, I would do 2 sets of Protectors, mainly because the Scorchers are going to be ambush bait, so you want 2 squads of Protectors to basically cover their front, but also cover their side so they don't get ambushed.
That's fair.
But there's different ways to do it. There's a lot of different ways to protect your Scorchers. You just have to your army. You have to go in with a game plan. They always say with army building, you have to go in with a game plan. And this is a unit that can do very well, but you have to protect them. Yeah.
All right, let's have a look at snipers. So they have the piercing spotter mark, like the Retributors, so they can do that. They have the range to take advantage of it with the 30-inch sniper rifles. They're pretty pricey, though, for 3 models with Defense 5, but they do have the snipers where they can start picking apart squads. Have you used these? Do you enjoy them?
I've never used. They've always been too pricey. Now they're a little less pricey now because like you said, fast is a little cheaper on them. I think they were like $150.
Yeah,
they've always been too pricey. Now I know recently Sniper got reduced. It's called Takedown now.
Takedown,
but it got reduced in points.
And
135 doesn't feel terrible for them.
There's lots of things to snipe now. But it's expensive. This is an expensive unit.
It's very expensive. 135 points for just 3 models at quality at quality 4 too.
Yeah, reliable though.
They reliable, but I'm saying like you shoot 2 of them and like they're gonna. It's a hard one. I've never managed to fit snipers into my army. I have some models. Maybe I'll try a 3-man squad. I don't know.
That's how I've found the most success with snipers recently. Is don't overinvest. Like either a single like commander with a 2-shot sniper who's doing other stuff, or like a 3-man group like you mentioned. Yeah, because otherwise they become too much of a target, and they're not that hard to kill. Stealth is not much defense.
Don't depend on scout. Like if you use scout to basically set them up in the back, like in other words, in your back line, but just protecting them from any line of sight from long range shooting, maybe they're okay because they do have a 30-inch range. But you're never setting. I'm sorry. You're never setting them forward. You're always setting them in the back. And I don't know the meta. Maybe in the meta, like you mentioned, there is a lot more of these individual buffing things to kill. So maybe they have a place. I'm not like I can see it.
For me, my HDF banners are so valuable that I hate snipers because they immediately just delete a quality off my unit, and probably make them make a morale off it.
They may have a place. I can't speak to 3.5. 3.4 they weren't great, but like you said, Sniper got reduced. Highborn is now better on them because they don't care about running. Yeah, I can see it. Sure.
All right, Vanquishers. How have you found these? These seem in a little bit of a weird place for me, but what do you think?
They're a lot like, I always say you either run Scorchers or Vanquishers. You run them in 6-man squads, but you have to protect them. They are basically like Scorchers. They don't have the impact. Like Scorchers are so they're not going to quite do as much damage, and they're going to be more expensive.
So it'd be almost 600 points for a 6-man.
Yes, I do like, and I like them in 6-mans. The 3-mans just don't have the impact. Again, if you're going to bring them, this is one of these squads. If you're going to bring them, what you want to do is you basically want to get a line of fire where these guys can shoot that thing and that thing only and kill it, and then effectively they can't get shot back, right? Because they've sort of, that's what you want to do with these guys. You basically want to like find that narrow firing lane, pick one thing, kill it, and then that's the one thing that could shoot them back. So it's a high skill cap unit.
They did get a fringe buff now because they actually have Relentless that works for them, unlike before where it's very hard to use the Relentless.
And Highborn with Relentless now is great. They are pricey. It can work. It really can work. It can. It's just they're very pricey. Now, I almost would want to say the Impact Rocket is still really good. AP3 Deadly 3 is great.
Now, Piercing Spotter make them even more expensive, but now they could 50%, maybe 75% chance to go to AP4, and now they're melters with 30-inch range. That's
probably one of the few units that I would actually give this on because it synchronizes very well with them. You would, like you said, AP3 to AP4 is very good, or the +1 to hit. Yeah, I think I like them with the 30-inch range just because the Surge Rocket only 24. Is it still 20? Let me check on that real fast.
Surge Rocket
is still 20.
It's 24-inch, yeah, 3 unstoppable.
24. That's why I like. Yeah, it's worth it paying the 15 points because that 6 range is huge for them. I mean, if you're gonna bring them, it's one of those things, right? If you're gonna bring these guys, invest in them. Hit and run, as it being so cheap now, is now really good with these guys.
Yep.
Maybe that's a reason to bring them with Surge Rockets. So maybe I haven't played it that way, but maybe you do it that way too. You run these guys with just Surge. But honestly, that AP3, the Impact Rocket's just so good. AP3, Deadly 3, 30-inch range. It's a really good unit.
Is this another unit you baby to avoid ambushes?
You have to baby, and you could never run Scorchers. You can never run Scorchers and Vanquishers in the same army. You kind of have to pick one because you kind of run your army around them. But they work, like I said, if you can pick your firing lanes, effectively you isolate one target. That one target is the only target that can shoot you back, and you just sink 6 deadly shots into it, kill it, and then it can't shoot you back.
Yep.
But yeah, they're pricey, but don't be afraid of. With high elf fleets, you have to understand, high elf fleets are generally, that's how you have to play them. You have to play the line of sight game. You have to play that sort of thing. Otherwise, just play a different army. I mean, all right, play Marines if you want something really tough. So that's what I say.
All right, so going into the elementals then. So the first one up is the shooting variant, the Protectors. They've got a Relentless that works. They've picked up Highborn, which they didn't have before, so they move faster, they shoot harder. They're still Fearless Defense 3, and they've got some nasty weapons. AP2 Blast 3, and they've got AP4, lots of AP4 shots if you want as well. And the Unwieldy debuffs, if you want to support some melee units out in front of them. What do you think?
Yeah, this is a unit. However you run them, run the 3-man squads, run them in 6-man squads, run them with however you want to run these squads. They're great, right?
Yeah.
they're just great. I mean, so
this is just a very reliable squad. Good defense, toughness, fearless. It's all fearless too. Fearless is still really good in this game, and having fearless on these guys is, I mean, if you really wanted a competitive army, you're running 2 or 3 squads of these, 2 or 3 squads of the Strikers, and you've got to take all the objectives. Yeah. 6-man. So, like you said, you're happy with 6-man, 3-man. All the weapons are pretty good. Unwieldy debuff.
They're so good, you can really do anything with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do anything with them. They're just, the Wraith Cannon is great if you really need it, or you just, it's really, they're versatile, and that's the thing that's just kind of annoying. You can run 2 or 3 squads, and their armament allows them to basically, this is anti-tank, this is anti-chaff. It's like, okay. And the Highborn is great on them. Yeah. Relentless and Fearless. I mean, yeah, it's great.
Now,
it's got all the tools it would want to do its role. And you're right, both Protectors and Strikers, just the fact that one has Relentless and it's the shooting one, and the other has
Furious.
Furious, yeah, is just such a nice part of the design. But
It's the best and worst. It is both the best and also the worst designed part of the High Elf fleets, because the internal balance in the High Elf fleet's army, these units make the army as a whole bad because they're just so internally balanced better than anything, right? So I both love them and hate them because they break the internal balance of the army so
you want to show
badly.
up with elves, and they
Yeah.
tell you no, actually, big robots. That's how you play.
Yeah, I think that's so that the best and the worst part of the High Elf Fleet's army, they are to me what make the army a bad army, a badly designed army. Yeah,
So strikers, they've got the Furious, like you mentioned. They've also got shielded, so these are defense 2 base, so they're even tougher, and they actually slap in melee. Quality 3 with Furious, and they've got AP4. They've got deadly 3
and
options.
the dual energy swords, don't sleep on them. Like that one extra attack is they're def 3. I mean that's good and plenty, as they say. No, again, same as I said before, they are the best and the worst thing about High Elf Fleet's army.
All right, so we'll
They do
run.
their job too well.
Well, yeah, these. It's hard to argue with all these. These are great rules and great stats, and they're not that expensive really if you
No.
don't pump too much into them.
And
And they
if you pumped
self-support.
into them, yeah, and if you pumped into them, they have the def and fearless to make it worth it, right? I mean,
And this is
tack on
the
all the AP4.
this is the one unit that can use its
Yeah.
unwieldy debuff for its own benefit. It doesn't need any support. It can debuff its stuff that's in range of charging it, and then they don't get a choice anymore. They're going to hit last, and this unit will melt anything that charges it. It's actually got damage.
And don't forget too, you can double that squad and put in. What
Double
you do is, I
unwieldy.
think you could put it on 2 units a turn. Yeah,
Yep.
Yep.
And that's what 540 points, and that's what
That's not bad at all.
12, 24 attacks with AP1
560
rending,
if you
Furious.
Unwieldy.
Yeah, not bad at all.
That is
You can make them cheaper. I mean, I actually like these guys with the deadly axes. I think
just
they're
standard.
standard. I mean, that's 490.
It's less
That's
than
great.
500 points.
Yeah. I mean,
All right. Going back to the elves, we've got the first bike unit, Jetbike Protectors. So they've got native stealth and regen. They actually can, interestingly,
Regen.
stealth. Well, you can combine and change it.
Oh,
but-
double squad, yeah.
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 And interestingly, they don't replace their weapons to get a sniper rifle. They can just add a sniper rifle, which is something.
This is
haven't
where I
seen that
do
before.
snipers instead. I wouldn't do it as a separate unit.
It's interesting you just chuck in one.
It's
Just a sneaky
it's
one or two sniper rifles in there.
maybe 1 or 2. That'd be interesting, actually. Now that you mentioned it,
Pick off
maybe
regen.
like 1. I think if you did like 1 or 2 snipers, maybe. But I also just like these guys just stock. 200 points is great for them. They do what they need to do. The 2 attacks is, I mean, they're actually a pretty efficient unit. Remember, they've got fast and highborn.
Yep.
So that's very
Zooming.
good. That's going to give them what a threat range of 4, 10, 22 inches.
Yep.
Because they're going to very good. And Strider too.
Mm-hmm.
I like them. I like them either at 200 points or as a 400 point squad where they're just going to run in there and just shoot. And they're quality 3 too.
I do like
is
the
great,
idea
yeah.
of the just solitary sniper rifle, though. Like you mentioned, because the
Yeah,
sniper
I
rifle
see
has
that.
to go first. You can snipe the medic, boop, medic gone, and then all these guns start shooting into a no medic unit.
It could work. Yeah, I actually didn't think about that, but you're right. Since it is, I think it used to be I think the way they used to have it, you could have it be all. So that's why I didn't like it. But now it's any model. Yeah, that could actually be good. I mean, I love them with regeneration, not stealth, just because they're going to be in close anyway.
They need to be within 12.
But regeneration is great on them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're
30 points is worth it at this model.
Strider is great, so they can get in terrain. They're basically going to have armor 3 when they shoot.
Do you
It's
double
going to be
spot?
difficult for unit.
Do you combined? Or just three,
Oh yeah,
three
I
dudes?
mean, both. I think I like them even in combined squads. That's going to be 430 points for a 6-man squad with regen. Yeah, that's great. Or 460. Yeah, I mean
460,
that's 430 is great. I mean, and that's 24. What is it, like 18 shots with crack?
Yeah, 18 shots with crack.
18?
With regen.
That
And
Strider as well is always going to guarantee that they can be in terrain. So as far as shooting goes,
18 effective
Strider
rounds
makes
with
a big
defense
difference.
4 and regen is actually extremely tough. That's not easy to get rid of. Yeah, I think this is actually a pretty good unit, and this can get you objectives and things. It's actually really fast, and it can do lots of jobs. Good unit.
very versatile. Yeah, I agree.
Now, this one can't do as many jobs, but it can do some things that other things can't. So it's got the scout, and it's extremely fast, and it's got impact, which is its main differences, and it's can do the energy lances as well for 2-up attacks and a charge alongside its 2-up impacts. What do you think?
I don't like it. I remember playing these guys a few editions ago when their energy lance. So they used to have these guys as actually running these more like what we would call a shining spears.
Yep.
Where they actually all had deadly. It actually made the unit very useful as being a mobile deadly attacker. But now you can only bring one of them. The energy lance is just not great on. They're too pricey. The problem is that the protectors just do their job so much better. I don't like. They're very much a hybrid taxi unit. I don't like it.
These lances trick you into thinking they might be able to do anti-tank work, but they can't. AP2 is not enough, and the single deadly 3 is not enough on AP2 either.
Yeah, they were, and this is the thing that I noticed. When High Elf got their model range update, their army got worse because they lost these. They used to have these jet bikes, which used to bring all deadly weapons. That actually made them pretty good because they were fast and they could hit something and put 5 or 6 deadly hits onto them. Right? The energy lance is just not good. Your protectors are just better. You get what you need. You get the regen on them, which is just great. Stealth is just not great on them. Like the protectors are just outright just better in every single way. I don't know. They're a weird hybrid unit that
I like the idea that you can just have this scout and just immediately charge something and there's nothing your enemy can do. But in this army, there's not much that can follow that up. They'll be out there alone if they try and charge something.
And they don't hit that hard.
No.
I mean, they've got I think their impact is nothing. What is that like?
It's a 2-up.
That's going to be 6 1 hit, and then they're going to have another. After that's going to be 12 hits hitting on 2's AP2. It's okay.
For 500 points.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's okay, but 500 points. That's not going to kill anything. I don't know. Is it 500? It's 500.
480, but you got to put the scout aura on, and then if you combine it, it goes to 500. Yeah. Before any upgrades, like if you want some sergeant weapons and things.
This is
they don't hit, and it's 500 points. That's just, I mean, they aren't going to kill something 500 points comparable in the first. And
Elemental strikers are cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah. At the very least, those Scorchers, we go back to things like Scorchers. Scorchers will kill something above their points level in one turn.
Yeah.
I mean, they have whether it's the blast or the fusion round, they have the hitting power to just kill something. Yeah, they may die, but they can punch above their weight. These Strikers just can't.
It's the fact Lancers sit in a weapon category that just doesn't work in OPR, and they didn't work in 3.4 either, where you drop the number of attacks compared to if that weapon was like a high volume attack unit, because you're going to a tough 3, and it's a lance, so it's at most it's going to be 2 attacks. You don't get enough AP for it to be quality melee, and so now it doesn't kill chaff, and it doesn't. Well, it'll kill chaff. It just won't kill enough because there's not enough volume. There's no blast. And it won't do anything to vehicles, or it'll barely tint vehicles.
Yeah.
So it's in this perfect niche of it's not good against any other units.
But it's expensive.
but it's
I
expensive.
would say that if Jetbike Strikers, if you did it, if those energy lances at least got a third attack,
Yeah,
then you've got 3 lance, and it's worth. I would pay more points. I mean, if you're going to run this unit,
you want
you
it to
want
do.
you want it to do what it's going to do. This is sort of a middling unit that it's almost sort of like a tanky unit, but it's not quite tanky.
It's not
I
as
don't know.
tanky as
It
the
doesn't
Protectors
quite
because it doesn't
know.
have regen, sadly.
This is a unit that it's again we go back to it. Some of these units when they designed this army were well thought out. Some of them aren't, and this is a unit that hasn't been thought out. So
All right, so let's go down to starting the vehicles. So the APC, it's still got fast, and now it's got highborn as well. So it's very quick. It's actually extremely cheap, 165 points, because it's got almost no firepower. You could choose if you want to add firepower or not, which I really appreciate. How do you like your transports?
I don't like transports in general. The rules for transports are bad because I mean that's just this is a good transport. The problem is that transport the way the mechanics work in this game, it's not worth it. You'd never want to run it because you can't drop. It isn't like I think if transport they changed the rule where you could drop a unit out and they could do something, it'd be great. But since you can't do that, you basically have to move this squad up, sit there for an activation, and let your opponent shoot that transport, possibly killing it. And then if you kill the transport, the unit inside is automatically wavered. It's just so I think it's a good transport. The problem is that the transport rules themselves are bad. So
Yeah. It's I don't think ever take any of these weapons because you're just making it more of a target and it doesn't help it do its job any better because it needs to be double moving and delivering something. And these are actually extremely expensive weapons. But if you really want to get some Scorchers up the field, it's a good option. But like you mentioned, if the transport gets destroyed, you're extremely sad.
Just on the transport still, I've got to say, I hard disagree on the uselessness of transports. Now, look, I haven't played in competitive, so maybe it's just my meta that makes them more viable than perhaps how the competitive meta actually looks. But that being said, honestly, some of the most success I've had in my games has been due to shotguns in transports, cheap shotguns in transports. Now, admittedly, over time that's adjusted a bit, but looking at this transport to me, losing out on the guns means nothing, effectively, because you're not going to be shooting the transport in any situation if possible. And it's well worth that discount you get comparing it to the other transports. You've got the increased speed as well, so you can position
yeah.
in different places. You've got the standard impact. I think is always a good rule on transport because after you drop off your unit, your transport is going to be ignored because it's not worth shooting at unless you can pop the guys inside. Like the amount of aggro these things can draw can lead to pretty poor positioning on your opponent's part. And then when you're doing that sort of transport, deliver, step out, shoot, I think what your opponent needs to rely on to counter it is wherever you place that transport, say full of the Scorchers, your opponent needs to be able to kill it in one activation, which is not entirely unheard of, and there's plenty of units that could work it out themselves as well. You know, your opponent has his own Scorchers there on foot. You're probably not going to drive the transport full of Scorchers right in front of them. But I've found in a lot of cases it's not a given that your opponent's going to going to be able to bring the sort of firepower against that transport if you position it reasonably. And on top of that, maybe that's the value that I see of the shotgun transports is it's delivering a unit that if I can get in at full size and unload, 20 shots at AP1 for me with Dow, that's a lot of shots that can do a lot of damage, and that sort of firepower you wouldn't get across the board otherwise. But if they stop that transport, getting stunned sucks, but that unit's still there in position for the next turn. And you know your opponent's probably not going to take much time to spend on that unit just sitting there. So maybe it's just my experience with transports, but I think this transport has a really solid place in the list. I don't think you're giving it enough credit, but maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just the way I play.
Well, I think with high fleets, the thing with high fleets, I would say one is that they're just being naturally faster means that transports aren't as useful. Now, things like okay, so I have played transports. There's a really good transport. So like Blessed Sisters have a very good transport. That's their Infernal, which is a tough 9. Tough
Oh, that one's
9
cool.
and tough 9 and tough 6 is a huge difference. That transport also has shooting weapons, and I'd pay that for it. I also think transports have a place in things like maybe like dwarf guilds, who can use that transport to not get too close, but to get in that 12 to 18-inch range, where, yes, I think there is just better. The problem is that there's just better optimal ways to do that. But I think that like transports have a place. I think in high elf fleets, this is a decent transport, but 165 is very pricey for a unit that can't, like, at the very least, when I bring an Infernal APC from Blessed Sisters, I mean, I'm pumping out 12 9 flamer shots afterwards.
Flamer transports are extremely good. And
They are.
flamer transports with the
The
relentless
tough
equivalent
9
are
as
even better.
well, and the tough 9 on them is great. I don't think high
That does
fleets
feel like
need it.
even more of a target, right? I will say you are right. I really should factor in that fast since we are literally talking about high elf fleets in this case. The fast does of course make them less useful in this particular army.
Yeah,
Definitely
dwarf fleets. I mean, not dwarf guilds.
because they're slow, aren't they?
They're slow, but their transports aren't.
Yeah.
So that is actually an army that I've seen transports do very well in, because you can take some of these big tough units. You don't go. What you basically is you drop your units off midfield, so you don't get close, right? You're dropping off guys with maybe 18-inch range, 12-inch range with their shotguns or something. A unit that can just and remember, like, the transport actually helps slow units because you get to deploy within 6. That's actually 2 more inches for dwarf guilds. I think that's how that works. I haven't looked at
It
it.
is.
But
Pretty sure that's how
we
transport
should look
reads.
at that one. Let me see what transport is. That what it says? I need to. Yeah, within 6 inches. That actually gives dwarf guilds a bit of a bump. What I would say is, like, so transports have their place. In high elf fleets, they don't. You don't. I've played. You don't really need
Oh,
them.
no, it would
I
be 4.
think that I think like, and it depends. Like I said, that Infernal APC for Blessed Sisters is golden. That
Oh
thing
yeah.
is wonderful. Dwarf guilds as well have some flamer based transports as well that are great. I haven't looked at Dow. I've never played Dow with transports. I can't comment on that one.
I
But
can quite highly rate because it's turn 1 solid midfield control that you can move up with your transport on your first or second activation or whatever, and then your opponent has sort of that one next activation to pop the transport, and then after that you're going to potentially, if you build the grunts inside right, wipe out their scout units or wipe out infantry units that are in the way, which I've found to be quite a good early sort of midfield board control maneuver. Because then as well, they're in that range of, they're not too expensive a unit. You know, it's 200 points for 10 grunts with shotguns for 20 shots AP1. And so they just hold in cover in the middle of the board well enough. And then the underrated thing I think of transports is after that, even with transports that don't have the decent shooting, the impact is such a nice morale triggering ability to just ram something that's already been hit in melee that didn't quite get morale checked, or that did get shaken, and now you can route it with just a charge from your APC, as well as that last minute cross the board take an objective. I think there's some source in there that perhaps, even
I mean, I think
even in
that's
this
all
list.
fair, and to be honest, you could be right. I mean, I
Not usually, but
transports
yeah,
make
I can be.
yeah. I mean, they have a bigger place in the meta than I like I said, I can't speak to the current meta. Historically, but I mean, at the same time, I would say this: I've played Dow, and I generally lose with them. So
You should see.
maybe I
Have you
can't
seen the new
comment.
rules? Oh my goodness.
I've looked at them some, not really impressed with Dow.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I haven't. I've looked at some of them and nothing. I think Dow generally got worse in these rules. I think generally, at the very least, they had a decent level 3 that could protect them some. So
I
yeah,
would
I don't
agree.
know. What are their spells? Still pretty bad, it seems. Yeah,
Well,
at least with Dow, that level 3 pacification was basically the only way you survive as Dow. You're just casting pacification, and
that is a
just
big loss on the spell list, I will
that
say.
is so. I think Dow to me were already pretty bad. Losing pacification was
I think
a big
Sometimes they
hit.
just shoot you off the board now, though. With
the
Oh, do
Dow.
free
they?
up to hit is
Yeah,
very nice.
they could be good. I mean, like I said, I haven't played 3.5, so maybe they're better. Like I said, to me, Dow have always just been run down. Like when I mean ran down, I mean like an army just gets in the face and just kills them.
Yeah,
But maybe the shooting
it's
buffs are
even
better
harder
now.
now. It's even more necessary to get in their face and kill them because the +1 to hit
Yeah.
buff is 9 inches. So getting in that range so they no longer get the buff. In the game that we just played yesterday, it it's a big swing effect on them, and they're paying for that buff. But yeah, it's difficult because across 3.5, everyone's had air quotes buffs or price drops to reflect the new army rules and additions they've had. So it's hard to understand when you look at comparison 3.4 to 3.5 if something actually makes it better relative to the rest of the meta. And I think as well we're coming in from that same sort of perspective of we're limited on our 3.5 games still, so we don't know how they sit in the meta. We can only talk about do these rules look like they'll be good.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's have
Okay.
a look at the heavy jet bike. Um,
Um,
it's got all the
not
problems of a
good.
transport, but it doesn't transport.
Yeah, if it shot above it, if you could get 8 shots out of it, it'd be good. The fact that this thing shoots below its tough value, I don't know why
It's a
they
bit
can't
wimpy.
just. Yeah, like I think this is just a very simple design flaw that I think. Why don't you just take a few minutes and just give this thing 8 shots? I
Like
don't know. This is simple
210
stuff.
points for a las cannon and a shotgun. Yeah, no, that's I don't care
Yeah.
how fast it is. It just doesn't have impact, unfortunately.
I think
Yeah,
on
like I said, some units in this army have been thought out, some haven't, and this is one of these units.
I think on our DAO video, one guy commented because we had this same perspective, and I wholeheartedly agree on this jet bike. Had this same perspective on a what was it, the Tau jet bike equivalent, the
Yeah, hover
Piranha,
bike or something they call it.
the hover bike, which is roughly the same as this, maybe less weapon options on it. And he actually liked that it just as a really a chaff unit, which is how he saw it.
210 points. This...
Yeah, yeah, but like if at 210 points, you're also getting a 2-up defense save on the unit. I'm not sure I particularly agree with it. I've never considered using them in that capacity, but it's interesting to see as an idea where you may want to have a chaff unit in a monster heavy list. So say you are going with all your what are they called? Elementals in this list, and maybe you're going with your great elemental or your really big guy, and if this in as a chaff means you've got nothing good for your opponent to put that low quality firepower into high quantity. But yes, 210 points.
Here's the thing with the higher fleets though. If you wanted that, you could run a combat walker which has scout, and now it can kind of do its job a little bit better, and it shoots harder.
Yeah.
So I think if you were considering a heavy jet bike, just take a combat walker. However you want to take it.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too.
How would you run? Do you run combat walkers, Nexus?
I've ran them before. I don't like them with scout. I wish that was an optional upgrade. They're okay. Again, they're not great. I think you just keep them with the shard cannons.
I'd kill for heavy flamers on these guys.
Yeah, well, the problem is that they should let these guys shoot at 125% they're tough. Like, a lot of things can do that. Let them do that. Like if you're going to pay these points, you want to optimally be able to get the number of shots out. So I wish these guys would get 8 attacks. Like, you can be, even if it's just that, like the shred cannon, give them 8 attacks. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So we'll.
It's no guard HDF's double flamer.
It's not a light combat walker, no.
No.
It's a lot more expensive than a combat walker.
Have you seen that tech?
I haven't looked at Human Defense Force. I was going to do a review on 3.5, but just stuff got. I've actually been I'm going to. I also didn't want to review too many things too quick because I wasn't sure if they were going to change. So I haven't had a comprehensive review.
It's been changing so fast.
Ago. Yeah, and I don't even know if this 3.5 if he's made additional upgrades. So, it's maybe it changed. That's just sort of guessing. I think that probably another month or so I am going to do really like an in-depth analysis and look at it. Yeah, I've looked more at high elf fleets because they're my army that I care about a lot more. Yeah. But I know that HDF did get some good buffs. Hold the Line is great. +1 morale is just crazy good.
And +2 morale with a boost.
Yeah,
not on veterans.
It's crazy. +2 morale is crazy. Like, I don't think that the points take into account pluses to morale. I've always felt that pluses to morale were too cheap.
Yep. 100%.
It feels incredible to pay 5 points to get from a 3 up to a 2 up morale. I will say that.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
As your opponent, it didn't feel too incredible at first. Oh, yeah, I got him to morale check. All right, 2 up. Oh, yeah, okay, cool.
All right, so looking at the Fire Prism equivalent. Now, this does have the 2 attack AP4 Deadly 6 option. It's expensive, 535, but this is a 3 up to hit, 2 attack AP4 Deadly 6. That's pretty scary. It's more expensive than a Hammerhead, though. Nexus, what's your opinion?
It's okay. I'm not a big fan of their tanks. This tank is. I think the problem is that like it's both. It's very fast, but it has a lot of long range weapons. So you're really paying. Like, you're paying a premium on it. I just think that this particular weapon, it's okay. I mean, I think if you bring it, it's not the worst thing in the world. But I mean, Strider is not going to really do you a lot of good when you have a lot of 30 and 36-inch range weapons. Fast and Highborn are also, like, nothing really synergizes with this, other than maybe the shard cannons. Like, maybe
the 24-inch range. It'd be nice if this prism cannon was 24 inches and was a free upgrade.
Yeah,
or something.
At the very least, it does shoot around its max points. So I think if you give it shard cannons, it's okay, but it's still pricey. I mean, that's going to put it at 485. It's very pricey. Yeah, it's okay. I don't know. I mean, it's not the worst tank in the world, but it's okay.
You're looking at the missile launchers, are you, Kieran?
Yeah, I'm looking respectfully at those. 515 is a lot. Okay, granted. 30-inch range, a lot for these. I would also prefer them if they're in a better range. Unstoppable, I think, is going to be quite good this edition. We've in our game, the Unstoppable did a lot. There's a lot of stuff with artillery rules and stealth and aircrafts being put on the board potentially as well. There's a lot of negative modifiers to hit floating around. And the fact that now it's, as a rule equivalent, it gets regen, which it didn't previously, the equivalent of Unstoppable, makes it even better. Now,
This is something you have to support
know-
with that piercing mark, because AP2 is ugh. But if you can get that up to 3 or 4,
Yeah,
that'd be
it's
nice.
4 shots though.
It just
It is
doesn't have
4
the
shots.
impact.
Yeah.
It is 4, but AP2 is not great.
There is the piercing mark in the
It's
list, though.
okay.
So you could support it. But then you're having to,
Yeah.
build around it a bit.
The tank is okay. It's not horrible, but
It is overpriced.
It is overpriced, but it's not too overpriced. Yeah.
All right, let's have a look at Wraith Lords, Great Elementals. So you can go full on Blender now with these guys if you wanted to. What's that? 16 attacks, AP1 rending, not bad. They've got the Fearless as a base with Fear 2, Defense 2. They actually move fast now because they got the Highborn rule. They picked that up.
Yeah. They're good.
They've got the option as being a caster, which is a great pick, I think, for 35 points on a tough unit like this.
The unwieldy buff as well.
Unwieldy buff. And this is a squad this is a unit that can actually really use it.
Oh yeah.
How do you how would you be looking at running
It's a
these
great
guys?
unit. Yeah, I think what you mentioned, the blender is great. What is that? That's getting like 16 attacks.
16 attacks.
It's only AP1 rending. It's not great. I would have you can run, so I think it's what you do. Maybe you do the great axes are pretty terrible. I wouldn't do the fortified. Yeah, I think that's what you said. You just run you just run the swords, or just keep them with the claw. You can run them a discount. Just keep them with the claws. There's not a big difference between AP nothing rending and AP1 rending.
You do
So I
lose
actually think that
4
I think
attacks.
he's just good at 340.
You lose 4 attacks by not
You
picking up the
do
swords.
lose 4.
And
It's not bad though. He's still
He's very cheap.
340 is pretty cheap for him.
Yeah.
He's very cheap. I like that.
And he's tough and fearless
But
and
I
good
think
quality.
it's just as well you could spend 55 points and get him. Yeah, I think spending 55 more points is fine.
This is where you really want an
and you give
unwieldy
him
debuff,
both.
I think.
You're upgrading both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're buying both.
Yeah.
That's what makes him really crazy.
What does he want to use every turn?
Yeah.
What spell would you be throwing out?
It's. I think the.
It's a good question.
I think that's probably.
Just
the level
other
2 has
stuff.
always been really good. The level 2 Hidden Spirits is just great.
Yeah.
And the other thing that makes him really good is, remember, to counter spells, to be able to counter, you have to see something. So because he's a bigger model, he actually can get line of sight to a lot of casters and use his caster tokens to counter theirs. So that's a little hidden buff as well.
Is that using a particular line of sight rule system? Because in the base, isn't it just you can't shoot?
Did they
for other
change it?
units?
Maybe they changed. I haven't seen 3.5, but it used to be that to be able to counter a psychic spell, you have to be within line of sight of the caster. Maybe that's changed.
I'm talking about just the line of sight rules themselves, because they've come up a few times in our group recently. The way, because being a big unit, as I understand it, in the base rules doesn't add much in terms of line of sight.
You're talking in
base,
terms of
no
seeing through a unit's perimeter, right?
Seeing through another
You
unit's
can see
perimeter.
over them, can't you?
Not in the core rules, as I understand it.
The way we played it, so true line of sight. I guess this is a bit of a tangential discussion, but we've always played it whether you do it the tough way, where you base a unit's height by its tough value, or just true line of sight. A big model can see more units. They can see over units. So that's a bit of an indirect buff because he can pick out that caster, looking over, and maybe throw
Yeah.
something here. It's a minor thing, but it actually matters. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
he's
he's
good.
think
he's a good pick. Would you ever run him shooting, or just keep him?
Nah.
Nah, you get your shooting elsewhere. Yeah, yeah.
he doesn't. One, I guess, thing I see when I look at him is that the sort of other units that I'd expect to do what he's doing, which is be a big tanky walker, like your combat walkers, your dreadnoughts, that sort of stuff, I think are better at killing him than he is at killing them.
That's
Like
right. Yeah.
into a 2-up save tough 12 units, I don't really think any of the options the Great Elemental are going to do too great, because his deadly ones are all low AP, and he doesn't have many attacks in the AP4 weapon. I think it's just 6 attacks AP4 he gets, where I think a lot of those units end up with 12 attacks AP4 or even 16 attacks AP4 equivalent. So I think
Maybe keep the
That's an
Scorchers
He's
around.
actually, yeah, he's actually meant to be kind of a chaff killer himself.
he is, yeah.
He has a place. I mean, AP1 is, there's a lot of Armor 3 units that AP1 is respectable against.
Yep.
And he's still got the rending,
AP1
so
and
he's
Hensler solid with rending. He's decent. Like, he's not the powerhouse, but he's good. And he's
He-
cheap.
Yeah, and he does a lot of good against what he's designed to kill. I think is the point I was getting
And you-
there. But
can't discount this Fearless as well. Quality 3 Fearless, a
can't.
very tough unit. He's going to be holding a lot of stuff.
just very nice. And the caster's nice, and the unwieldy's nice. He's got a lot of utility that those other units don't tend to have. Yeah.
All right, support artillery. So, like we mentioned, they've got the new keyword now. So, +1 to hit 9 inches away, and -2 to be hit 9 inches away. So they're quality 2 shooting, which is, I'm very jealous. That's
This is
quite
where
nice.
you need that unstoppable.
Well, it's right here. Shoot the enemy's artillery with your own unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
It's
won, though.
it's only defense 3, so a lot of the other artillery is defense 2. This is defense 3, so you're getting a little bit of a discount there.
And only tough 3.
And only tough 3. But this is non-trivial shooting for very cheap. That's quite accurate.
Yep. Good. And I like the base one is, to me, the base one's the best. But I mean, I can see the other ways. I mean, heavy mortar is good, and the AA is fine, but I like it as just a discount option. It's great.
For some
Yeah.
reason in my mind, I saw that moving artillery Lord upgrade, and I just had the idea of 10 Guardians, and then they just push a support artillery with them across the map. It's probably not good, but it seemed really cool in my head.
Guardian
Well,
slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just dragging it along.
Maybe the artillery might be harder to get off a midfield objective, so just getting that upgrade for the 1 turn, move them onto the objective, and good luck, -2 to hit it.
Just stack all your artillery somewhere.
You're not going to be able to peel it off. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
this is
there's
a good
something
option.
goofy
This
you
is
can do.
actually pretty cheap too.
Cheap.
For how
Cheap.
it's not easy to kill. So yeah,
Yeah,
this
definitely
might
the
be-
best mortar.
Yeah, just for this one, you reckon? Just to indirect,
Yeah.
30-inch indirect, hitting on 2s, blast 3. That's gonna pick away at chaff units that I thought they're out of line of sight. That's pretty good.
Sit
Alright.
it somewhere and it won't die. In the open,
We'll go into big boys because I'm actually excited about the High Elf Fleet's big units. What do you think about them? This is the Wraith Knight. This is the Wraith Knight equivalent. How do you like him?
Yeah,
Nexus?
I think he's the Wraith Lord. Just effectively, he's doing the same thing, just more expensive. I think the same thing applies.
He can fight up. He's got his AP4 attacks in mass if he
Yes.
wants it.
Yes, and I think that's fine. Or the Titan Sword is also good.
Titan
Yeah,
Sword.
I think he's. I think the one thing with him is he doesn't get the caster, which is a real bummer. But He's still good. I mean, I think at 7, if you run him, what is he? He's going to be
It's 805
he's
points,
going to be a little over 800 with that AP4. He's really solid.
835, and he's got tough
That's really good.
24, fearless, quality 3, fear 4. He's fortified, which on a tough 24 defense 2 unit is actually pretty good. This is actually maybe one of the first cost-effective Titan units I've seen. I wouldn't feel bad about putting this on the table. This is actually something that can do stuff for a reasonable price.
I'd feel
No, like you
bad
said,
coming
high elf
against
fleets,
them,
they need
sure.
to. They need to. If it's the Eldar, they need to start killing them, like suiciding themselves and putting them all
Turn
in
into
raid
soul
suits, and they'll
stones.
take over the galaxy.
We need more. We need more elementals, guys.
We need more elementals.
Oh dear. Yeah, I think this guy's great. Would you ever take shooting on him? He's got his deadly 9. That's
Nah.
interesting kind of shot. It's very expensive, but 900 points for two deadly 9
if
shots.
you want to be fluffy, sure. Yeah, I think
Fluffy.
if you want to be fluffy about it, yeah, bring it. Sure. I mean, it's okay. I think that one is good because it makes him a relatively. The deadly 9 is actually pretty good. Well, I'm sorry, the twin heavy wraith cannon is pretty good.
It's only 2 shots though out of your
Yeah, I
900
actually would
point
bring
model.
that. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad actually.
Yeah, and like you said,
I
those
consider
deadly
it.
9 units are really annoying. So be able to pick them up with one shot would be. And there's actually some tough 18 models out there now that are reasonable.
At that price, I can't see it, but I guess
I mean, the 835
so
is just
many
great
times-
with the. Yeah, I mean,
Just
with
with
the Titan Spear is just really solid, or the Titan Sword, but yeah, it's not a horrible one. Yeah.
All right, so let's have a look at the Avatar of Cain, or Elemental Avatar as it's called. So it's lost its ranged attack. You can choose to upgrade that now, which is a fantastic thing. It's base cast of 4 now. This is the first cast of 4 I've seen. And it's tough 18
So
regen.
this is
2 up quality. Fearless.
This is
Wow.
one of those things that is really frustrating for me as an Eldar player. That historically the Avatar is not a psyker, and yet in the lore for Eldar we have some of the best telepaths or psykers in the galaxy, and yet in high elf fleets our casters can't get caster 4, but an elemental can.
The random
It's
elemental.
just like I feel like can the high elf fleets in the OPR lore just start killing themselves and turning their psykers into elementals? Because like
Start calling
I
it
feel
elemental
that whoever
fleets.
designed this army just said we hate high elves, we just want elementals. Like all the cool stuff is given to the elementals. Like, and it's just one of those things that's really frustrating to me. That like it's good, but it also is annoying to me because I don't think an elemental avatar should be caster 4. And I think that if anyone should be caster 4, it should be their seers. So
This is
yeah,
an
I don't
incredible
know.
unit.
It's
I,
an incredible unit. It's
how do you
good.
get rid of this thing?
It doesn't hit at its. The only problem is it doesn't hit above its tough value. That's its only disadvantage.
But quality 2
I
fearless.
wish it had more attacks.
Tough 18
Yeah,
regen.
but it's
Oh
very
my
good.
god! Like,
No, if you count a damaging spell that it does,
well, yeah, it can charge and fire off what, 2, 3 spells, 2 spells, 3 spells potentially.
yeah, it cost the 3 cost or the 2 cost at higher chance. Then you can kind of get more than 18 attacks in that sense, but that's kind of reaching.
I do wish it had 18 attacks. I wish it had the 24 attacks from a lot of the big guys. That's its only disadvantage, is for a tough 18 model to only hit at its tough value. It's distinctly worse than a lot of its comparisons in other armies, which are going to get 22 attacks.
Is this the
24
Avatar
attacks.
of Cain?
Yeah, it's the Avatar again.
Right. Flamesword makes sense.
Yeah, it's not AP2 though on an Avatar Cane Sword. I would have thought an Avatar Cane Sword would be AP4, but I mean, for its price, this thing is actually pretty.
It's
pretty
surprisingly, like I said, if you're an Eldar 40k lore, you hate this guy because he's not supposed to be a caster and he's supposed to be a better hand-to-hand person. So I really get frustrated with the people who've designed this army because they don't seem to care about Eldar. They care about elementals, and that's, I feel like, create an elemental army if you like elementals. You know what I mean?
They're
Well,
obviously
they split out a
Yango
lot
fans.
of those units. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so a bit of a unique option next, the Seer Plane. It's a casting plane, and it's got very damaging shooting. This went up quite a bit. It used to be 350 or something. Now it's 410. But it's faster, I guess. And it's still got these terrifying AP3 Blast 3-4 shots. And it can cast
It's
for...
still extremely good. I mean, it's crazy. It's
Now it can
ridiculous.
actually
It's
it can actually just snipe the medic and then just go in with the AP3 blast. Now it can just be like, oh yeah, sorry, you thought you were going to get a save against
plane
this?
is crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
great!
I'm pretty sure there's an elemental riding on this plane. That's why it's so good. There's an elemental.
Yeah.
This plane is great,
Yeah.
and Kieran, what does it feel like versing this plane?
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. How do I feel versing? It's a great question. No, so we haven't played it this edition yet. I call me a bit of a salty boy about it, but I'm glad this got worse relative to what it was like before, because that before it had that it had that 8-hit spell as well every turn, and that was kind of horrifying to get 4 blast 3 AP 3 shots, and then before that also get the 8 hits. It was just, you sort of picked 2 units on my board, one high quality unit that got absolutely evaporated, and the other a chaff unit that got absolutely evaporated, and that was
you can't
quite
protect yourself because it's an
horrifying
aircraft.
unit.
It just goes where it wants.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. The aircraft rule got worse as well, in the
Yep.
sense that you no longer get the -1 to hit. Your spells, you don't have that same sort of good spell that you did before. I think you make a very good point with side destruction, that what you can still do now is use that spell to snipe out the medic and make those distortion guns even worse. This is that nightmare unit for any Battle Brothers player. They've got, say they run a squad and they throw regen in it. This will just go, I'm sorry, I don't think you get to play the game anymore this turn. I'm going to pick up that unit with my plane. And yeah, it's hard to kill. It's a good unit.
And it's
I don't
so
know if
quick,
I
and
take
it's
it
got
in
the casting.
every-
You can just do random things like, oh, this thing needs unwieldy right now. I'll just put that on it, and then I'll shoot something else. It's
Yeah,
so
that's
good.
what I was looking at too.
The utility, yeah, definitely. I think it's not as good as it was before, but I still think it's almost a must take.
It's incredible.
Almost.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go into the last plane. So this one is the fighter, the Crimson Hunter. So it's got the Unstoppable, so it's good at shooting at other aircraft. It's got some AP1 rending shots, and you can give it las cannons if you like. What do you think, Nexus?
I mean, it's not great.
Yeah.
It's 36 inch range for an aircraft. It's just,
It's extremely overshadowed by its
compared
cheaper
to
brother.
its elemental. This is the quintessential. We definitely know that the high elves are flying this plane, and the elementals are flying the other one. It's not good. I mean, it's not good, especially when you have just a heads down better one for cheaper next to it. I mean, it's sort of hard to. Again, I really hope that maybe in the future they're going to do some level of internal balancing on these armies, because, yeah, it's just, it's hard to talk about it.
All right, so just overall, what's your feelings about high elf fleets? If you had to give some advice to a new player who was struggling to win his games, what would you suggest?
I mean, elementals are great. High elf elementals, I would tell him to play that. Retributors are terrific. I mean, just pick anything with elemental in it; it's going to be fine. The plane is great. I mean, you can run some high elves. I mean, if you want to be fancy, you could run Scorchers or Vanquishers. They're a little more high skill cap. I wouldn't suggest those for new players. For newer players, I'd suggest Retributors. Shifters, I don't think it's too much of a skill gap to say you run shifters with hit and run. It doesn't take a genius to do that stuff. Yeah, I mean that's sort of what you're looking at. You're looking at anything with elementals, tossing in some, like you mentioned, Retributors. Protectors are also fine. I think that you made some really good points regarding Protectors. And I mean, if you're trying to win games, you run hit and run. It's just too good. You're not going to make a lot of friends because people are going to get annoyed with you. But
40 points for that,
you could,
plus a body,
yeah.
potentially a quality increase.
So, but yeah, I think those are all fine. Yeah. I mean, there you go. I mean, I think that you can. They're a good army. I think that if you are a person here who is wanting to play Eldar, you're going to be very frustrated with this army because it doesn't feel like the army. It doesn't even feel to me like high elf fleets. I don't really feel a lot of thought was put into this army, just based on the internal balance, and hopefully it'll get some love in the future. So there you go.
All right. That'll do for this week. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Thanks again, Nexus.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for coming.